With Echo's Act 3 here, we have a brand new exotic, many new artifact mods, weapon meta shakeups, different perk rolls, nerfs and buffs, so it is now time to do another top 10 most popular weapons being used this season right now. These weapons are being used because they are the most popular and best weapons to use, and if you're not using them or if you don't have them, this is your excuse or your motivation to go and get these weapons. Just a quick shout out to DestinyTracker.com for providing all of this great information. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into this list, and in number 10, we have the Apex Predator. Now, the Apex Predator is still by far the go-to rocket launcher to use in any activity in the game. Whether it's a simple strike or a Grandmaster Nightfall or even a day 1 raid, the Apex Predator is by far still the best rocket launcher to pull into any raid or encounter scenario in the game. Depending on what role or activity you're trying to do or how you want to use the gun, my recommended gold roll is Reconstruction and Bait and Switch, or Reconstruction and Explosive Light. If you're going for a longer damage phase, I would recommend running Bait and Switch. But if you're doing something like the Witness kill where you don't have too much time, Explosive Light is much more better. Either way, this is a crafted rocket launcher and you can obtain this one from the Last Wish raid, but this far into the game, I'm sure everyone has the Apex Predator crafted by now. Moving over into number 9, we have another rocket launcher, the Dragon's Breath. Now, the Dragon's Breath is still one of the best exotics in the entire game, and it is always one weapon that I have in my inventory. With the amount of artifact mods and fragments that we can get to boost Scorch and also ignition damage, the Dragon's Breath just does some amazing damage in any encounter in the game. One artifact mod, Solar Fulmination, is amazing to run with this gun, and it causes all the ignitions that this gun causes to do increased damage, and overall the Dragon's Breath is just a solid go-to weapon to use. Moving over into number 8, we have the Pro Memoria that comes from the Lost City inside the Pale Heart. Now, this is by far one of the best machine guns in the entire game, and it is extremely easy to get and also craft to pick your god roll. In my personal opinion, the best god roll for this gun is Reconstruction and Bait and Switch, which is two very easy perks to use together. Reconstruction just reloads the gun for you, and Bait and Switch will give you a 30% flat damage boost once procced with hitting all the enemies with your other guns. If you don't want to run Bait and Switch, there's plenty of other perks out there like Dragonfly, Desperate Measures, Target Lock, Frenzy. Whatever you want to run, this weapon can be crafted with it, and overall this is a great machine gun and it is very easy to obtain. Its origin perk, Dealer's Choice, is also a massive bonus for this gun, meaning any weapons that you have equipped from the Pale Heart allows you to get bonus super energy on kills. Moving over into number 7, we have the Sunshot. Now, the Sunshot is regarded as by far probably the best hand cannon in the entire game. Bungie tried to nerf the Sunshot by dealing less damage from its explosions, however this gun is still by far an amazing hand cannon to use in any encounter in the game. Everyone's been running the Sunshot for a few seasons now, there's not much really to say about this gun. The Sunshot is amazing, and if you aren't using it, you should definitely be using it. Moving on now to number 6, we have the Indebted Kindness. Now, the Indebted Kindness was the first rocket-assisted sidearm in the game, and it is still one of the best rocket sidearms to use. Being one of the 3 rocket-assisted sidearms currently in the game, the Indebted Kindness is arc, and it is very good to use whenever you need arc damage or there's arc shields in the game. The gold roll for the Indebted Kindness is any perk combined with Volt Shot, because Volt Shot is what makes this gun amazing. If you are aiming for the perfect gold roll, I would argue that Lead from Gold is the other perk that you want to combine with Volt Shot. This weapon already hits like a truck, and when you add in an extra little bit of damage from Volt Shot, it makes this weapon amazing. Now, running Lead from Gold with it allows you to have more ammo economy and use this weapon more like a primary weapon. I find if I run beacon rounds, I sort of run out of ammo a bit too quickly, and running Lead from Gold really allows me to use this gun way more often. The Indebted Kindness comes from the dungeon Warlords of Ruin, and if you still haven't got one, you can focus farm the first boss in the encounter very easily by yourself or with a fire team to try and target farm this weapon. Coming up here into the top 5 weapons here, at number 5 we have the Outbreak Perfected. Now, the Outbreak Perfected obviously comes from the 0 Hour Exotic Mission, and with the recent release of this one, you can now craft this weapon with rewind rounds. As for overall usefulness, I believe that the Outbreak Perfected is by far the best weapon to use in any Grandmaster Nightfall. With anti-barrier pulse rifle being a thing this season, it works on anti-barrier champions, pierces through any Hydras as well with their shields. Overall, it's just a great gun to use, and it deals a lot of damage. Overall, I believe this is the highest damage primary weapon to use in the entire game. And plus, it's always great to have in your inventory to pull out if you do run out of special and heavy ammo and you need a little bit more boss damage. You can just pull this weapon out and it should do the most damage you can possibly do with the primary weapon. Moving over into number 4 here, we have the Graviton Lance, or also known as the Gravy Train. Now, the Graviton Lance is by far one of the best exotic pulse rifles in the entire game, getting a massive buff just a few seasons ago, up to 75% increased damage. This thing is just an absolute monster. With its exotic perk Cosmology causing enemies to explode whenever you defeat them with this gun, it can cause massive void explosions. Pair this with any void subclass and any sort of weaken and or volatile rounds, this weapon is an absolute monster and by far one of the funnest builds to use in the entire game. I would definitely recommend giving the Graviton Lance a try this season if you haven't tried it out yet. Moving on here into the top 3 most popular weapons this season, in at number 3 we have the Choir of One, the brand new exotic. Now, this exotic is part of the Echoes Act 3, and it is acquired from the Encore Overture exotic mission. This mission is quite difficult and a little bit confusing, so look up a guide on YouTube on exactly how to finish it if you haven't got this exotic yet. Either way, the Choir of One is shaping up to be one of the best exotics in the entire game, so good that it is actually receiving a nerf very soon. Bungie accidentally made this weapon a little bit too overpowered. The way this weapon works, when you aim down sight, this weapon is hit scan and it deals heavy hitting bullets at quick rate of fire. However, if you decide to hip fire the gun, it shoots multiple projectiles at a slower fire rate. If you do hip fire, when enemies die, they cause ignitions and cause the enemy to blow up in void energy. This gun is extremely fun to use and very effective, and I would definitely try and get one before it gets nerfed so that you can feel the power of it pre-nerf. Moving on here into weapon number 2, we have the Aberant Action, the brand new solar rocket assisted sidearm. Now, in my opinion, solar weapons are the best weapons to use in the entire game because it feels like they have the best synergy with most of your subclass abilities on most classes, as solar is preferably the best subclass to use with both prismatic and also outside of prismatic. Anyway, the Aberrant Action is solo and it works extremely well with Incandescent and Heal Clip. That is the gold roll for the Aberrant Action, Heal Clip and Incandescent. These two paired together is amazing on this gun. There really isn't a whole lot to say here about rocket assisted sidearms. We've had these for quite a while now. Having a solar one and using Heal Clip and Incandescent on a rocket assisted sidearm is just broken. It is amazing and you definitely need to get this one crafted as soon as you possibly can. And obviously, moving over into number 1 here, you were waiting for it. Yes, the most popular weapon still in Echoes Act 3 is the Call, the Strand Rocket Assisted Sidearm. There's quite a healthy trend here. Rocket Assisted Sidearms are the best weapons to use in the game right now. Now, there is plenty of gold rolls to run on the Call. However, in my personal opinion, I really like using Demolitionist and Golden Tricorn. Demolitionist is just going to give you your grenades back much quicker, while Golden Tricorn will just give you a 40% damage boost when you match a kill with your weapon. So the Call is Strand, so getting a Strand kill from your subclass allows you to get a 40% damage boost on the Call, which just makes rocket sidearms hit like an absolute monster. Everyone's been talking about the Call. It's pretty much been the most popular weapon used in Destiny ever since the final shape came out. And if you still don't have a Call, I don't know, you're doing something wrong. Get a Call and use it as much as you possibly can. This is an amazing weapon. But anyway, guys, that will wrap the list up there. Drop a comment down below on what your favorite weapon is this season, and I'll maybe give it a try. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this content, feel free to drop a like, subscribe, comment down below, and all of that other fun stuff. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.